so much weight on my shoulders. Enough to knock me out, but I'm still holding the throne.
Hello everybody, Harvey Talks Prison here. I want to, because somebody asked me about this. Have you ever been caught slipping in prison? That's the way they worded it, and I've heard that phrase before. Sometimes you hear caught tripping. But yeah, I did, and I've told the stories about when I was first was new to the prison, you know, system. But when you've been there for a while, you should know to always keep your guard up at all times, no matter what. So I want to tell this story. It's actually two stories in one, of this guy who kept going to the hole all the time because at that time South Central Correctional Center didn't have a PC, and he didn't want people to know that he was checking in, because you know when you check in you gotta give a name and all this other stuff, you know. So he would hit people in front of guards, and in the hopes that the guard would, you know, stop it before it might end up bad for him. Well, I was coming out of the chow hall one time. There was always a guard right outside the chow hall, and he'll ask, not everybody, but every once in a while he'll say, hey, come here, and pick somebody to pat down. So I came out of the chow hall, and he says, hey, come here, let me pat you down. So I wasn't thinking. I go over there, hold my arms out. That's what you got to do when they're patting you down. And as he's coming, patting me down, when he got down to about my legs, another prisoner came out, inmate, because that's what he is an inmate, not a convict, and steals on me, knocks me down, and the guard knocks him down on top of me. And it's kind of windy, so the guard knocks me down on top of him and is on top of him, and is just causing all kinds of you know, I'm stuck, I'm pinned down, and this guy is he's telling the guy, stop resisting. The guy wasn't resisting. He was beating me about the head and shoulders. And so anyway, we go to the hole, because it doesn't matter when you're involved in an altercation. It doesn't matter if you didn't swing back or not, and I couldn't because I was pinned. But I didn't get hurt very bad. But they sent us to the hole, and then I guess when we got out of the hole, I guess I was out about a month. It might not even been that long. But I was up there in the med line. I had to get some meds. And there's a guy, I don't know, he's like several in front of me, but he was almost to where you get your meds. And he's a big biker. He used to be a biker, and he was a big dude. He's about 6'4", pretty big dude. And this dude comes running in from the back of the line, and there's a guard standing there right by the door where you come in, and steals on this guy. Well, as he runs past, the guard looks back. I don't know if the guard did this on purpose because he knew what this guy was doing, but the guard looks back out the door towards the line. And anyway, this dude steals on this guy, didn't even faze him. The guy turned around and blasts him, and finally the guard turns back around and sees it, you know, but it seemed like he took his time getting over there, and he yelled, "Break it up," and all that. But it was like he wasn't in a hurry to break it up. So finally gets it broke up, and he calls for 10:49, and gets it broke up, and and another guard came out from where you wait to see the doctors and stuff, when you got an appointment or something. He came running in out there, and they take him to the hole. But I say all this because, yes, for several reasons. For one, yes, it doesn't matter how long you've been in prison, you can get caught tripping. You can let your guard down once. It's not a good thing. That's what I'm trying to say. And me and that guy had both let our guard down, but that dude didn't get any fazed by it. The biker dude. But these are the kind of things that happen in prison, and you should be aware of your surroundings at all times. All times. You could let it down for when you go in the yard, you'll see people that normally are in certain spots, same spots every time they go to the yard. If that's not happening, then something's going on. I mean, that's just the way it is, Another thing, if you're in the child halls are usually noisy. I mean, very noisy. People talking and yelling and stuff. But if it goes quiet, something's about to happen. Squeaking tennis shoes. I know a lot of ex-cons that may be watching this will know what I'm talking about. The squeaking shoes is a sound of something, you can be in your cell watching TV or something. You hear squeaking shoes, there's somebody getting busy out there in the wing. Almost guaranteed every time. But I don't want to see anybody go to prison. But these are the kind of things you have to watch out for. Just imagine. I was in there 29 years or something. It's been, like a friend of mine, he's been in there 30-some years. Just imagine never letting your guard down for that many years. Being aware of everything all the time. I like to say, sleep with one eye open. That's true. You're asleep, the slightest sound will wake you up. It should anyway. But I tell these stories, and others tell these stories, and because we don't want you guys to go through what we went through. And there is a former guard, she knows who I'm talking about, that I would love to interview and tell from a different side, not just from convict's perspective, but from a guard's perspective. She won't do it. She's camera shy. Well, I was once too, but I'm not going to. And I understand people being camera shy, not wanting to be on camera and all this. And I even interviewed a guard one time that wanted me to disguise his voice. And I did. Did a horrible job at that too, but it is what it is. I would love to interview somebody that worked in the Missouri Department of Corrections. Like I said, I know a couple that I grew up with. And this one I'm talking about, I grew up with her daughter. And but just to hear their perspective, because they ain't going to give you any BS. They're going to tell you like it is. And I know two of them that quit because they didn't like the way the inmates were being treated. With convicts, they say inmates, that's just, or offender. They say offender sometimes too, because that's what it says on the ID card. But I say prisoner a lot of times because there's some people in prison that are not convicts, and there's some that's not inmates. There's a lot that's not inmates, but that's not the point. I just use the word prisoner because it's neutral, you know. I'm not going to say convict when I'm talking about the general population of prison, when there's some of them in there that's not. They're like those little sneaky ones that, you know, steal on you right in front of the guards, tell on you for the littlest thing. And that's another thing you gotta watch out in prison too. There's people in there that the littlest thing. There's no reason to be telling them. They'll be telling. Anyway, I've rambled on enough. If you guys like this content, hit this end screen up here, and I'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye.